Do you see any hope for the future when big corporate companies are fighting uh, for profits, and how do you see?
It's pretty depressing. I certainly have had my dark moments when I kind of think, maybe if we just got rid of the humans, the earth would be beautiful again. It's kind of like if we're going to make ourselves go extinct, it might be good riddance. I don't really want to feel that dark, but I'm hoping that more and more people will wake up and we'll change our policies. The governments will actually do something right for a change, and we'll clean up our food supply, and then we'll see a great improvement in our health, and everybody will be feeling much, much better. I'm hopeful, especially as I said, with the new administration, with RFK Jr., who is really, he has been fighting these companies all his life, as a lawyer, and making inroads into getting people aware of the problems that we face with our failing health in the United States as a consequence of our toxic food. So I think he's positioned now to do something important, and I really hope he does.
And what's your take on deuterium, since you talk
Oh,
about?
give me just a few minutes to talk about. How long do we go?
Uh,
When do we stop?
we are good as long as you're.
Okay, I was thinking we might have an hour and it's almost over, but yeah, deuterium. Well, I'm really, really interested in deuterium. That's been my latest passion. I'm really, really fascinated by it, and I do believe that glyphosate's toxicity may really. Deuterium is a critical factor in how glyphosate messes things up in the body, and I was not aware of deuterium as a toxic chemical, a toxic molecule at all, toxic atom actually. Deuterium is an atom; it's just a hydrogen atom with an extra neutron, so it's twice as heavy as hydrogen, and it's a rare isotope of hydrogen, but it's actually very common compared to, for example, calcium. It's like 6 times as much deuterium in the blood as there is calcium. So although it's rare relative to hydrogen, it's not rare. And it actually has a major effect on the mitochondria. It breaks the mitochondrial ATPase pumps. And that becomes a really big problem because then the mitochondria can't make as much ATP. And they also spew out reactive oxygen, which damages the cell. And glyphosate has been shown in multiple studies to cause the mitochondria to get sick and to cause them to release this reactive oxygen. And I'm suspecting that the mechanism may be through its disruption of the body's ability to keep deuterium out of the mitochondria. And that involves a lot of enzymes that glyphosate suppresses. So there's a whole bunch of dehydrogenases in particular, really a long list of dehydrogenases. Many of them are actually in the mitochondria, but also the microbes have a lot of dehydrogenases that are probably all suppressed by glyphosate. That's what I believe, because the dehydrogenases have this very, very perfect glyphosate susceptibility motif. So I believe that the dehydrogenases are sensitive to glyphosate. They don't work as well. And the consequences are legion because it ends up not the cell, the organism is not able to keep the deuterium out of mitochondria, and they get sick. So that's kind of the short story there. But it's a very interesting topic that's kind of really caught my attention lately. And I've been spending a lot of time studying metabolism with the angle of trying to figure out the deuterium. So it's been a fun project for me recently.
Very interesting. And do you think infrared sauna can help detoxify glyphosate?
Maybe I think infrared sauna is a healthy thing to do. I think it's definitely beneficial to your health. Exactly how it might, I don't know how it might actually allow glyphosate to be broken down. But I guess if you're sweating, you might release glyphosate through the skin, so you might be able to shed it that way.
Right. So there's an audience question. There is an activist in India called Vandana Shiva who is against glyphosate and GMO seeds. So um, have you like worked with anyone in India on this topic?
Yes. Shoot, I lost her name. No. Vandana Shiva. Vandana Shiva.
Yes.
I know her and I really like her. And she's been also fighting the GMOs for a long time.
Right. So have you been to India, doctor?
I have, yes. I only went once. It was really very, very interesting. It was back when I was doing my language work, and I was so impressed with all the languages. We were thinking about it was part of this million book project out of Carnegie Mellon University. And we went to several different cities in India with the idea, it was digitizing books, the idea of digitizing books, ancient books, that are important to preserve. But we were impressed with all the different languages, and to think about how one could communicate among all these people who speak all these languages was really quite interesting.
Right. I think we are on the hour, and so I'll ask the audience, are there any other questions you have for Doctor? Or any closing thoughts from your side, Doctor?
Well, thank you for doing this. I enjoyed talking with you, and I hope that your audience will take heed, because I really think it's an important thing for people to be aware of. And then, of course, it's not just glyphosate. There are many other contaminants in the food that make it unhealthy. And so the idea of eating certified organic, there are a lot of things you can't do if you're going to call your crop certified organic. So it's worth the extra money, I believe, to buy certified organic when you shop, or to get to know your farmer and make sure he's not using chemicals. Buy directly from the farm. That's also very nice.
Right. So with that, we come to the end of our podcast, and we want to really thank you so much for sharing such valuable insights. And I'm sure the audience is going to benefit so much from your thoughts. So thank you, Doctor. I think Dev has an internet connection issue. So on his behalf, I want to thank you. And it was lovely talking to you. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.